Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and I'm back with another reaction to Cloak and Dagger. I'm now on episode 7, which is entitled Lotus Eaters. Sorry. Pardon me, I'm still getting over all this illness, but it's getting better every day, and my voice is pretty much back for the most part. Anyway, episode 7. The last episode we saw Tandy discovering more about the research that her father was working on with Roxxon Corp, along with Mina Hess, and she kind of told her side of the story. And like Mina, who's still currently working for Roxxon, she's doing it because she revealed there was a substance that they are digging for. It's supposed to be something that's going to basically revolutionize the world. But the biggest thing that Tandy kind of took away from that was that she was able to, she met Mina's father, who was rendered catatonic from the explosion that happened at Roxxon. As a result, she tried to use her abilities to see anything that she could, either about her father or maybe about Roxxon Corp, but she discovered there was like a vault in his mind that she couldn't open. And if you looked at, I looked back at the image, and there was definitely the effect that we see when Tyrone is manifesting his powers that was around the lock. So I think it's pretty clear that this is something that she has to use Tyrone's power along with hers in order to open. So without further ado, let's get into episode 7. We ended on a really interesting note with Tyrone appearing in the church after almost being shot and seeing that trauma go down, and I'm really interested to see where he feels like he needs to go next. So let's do this. Boop.
Oh my god, it smells amazing. What's in it?
What would you say if I asked you that question?
Cardamom.
Say, figure it out yourself.
So, figure it out yourself.
Why?
Saucy. Wonder what happened to Mama Hess. Just a side question.
You're conducting shielding tiles.
Never came.
Wait, they what?
What?
They told you.
You say that something got heated to 150 degrees, and then you say that the cooling tiles didn't show up? How do you not do that math, sir? I'm not even a scientist.
I was told they weren't coming.
At all?
But I was told.
Exactly. Y'all careless with your life. Those are all the bodies that were in that other man's dream thingy. Oh my god, I really hope he's not reliving that over and over again. Oh, the song that was playing. See what you did there. He is reliving that over and over. Oh. Hi, I'm just gonna bring this random guy in to see your father. Can't explain. Okay, bye now.
You are into some messed up shit.
I know this seems crazy.
Says the guy who just mysteriously disappears.
Count to 3.
Are you making this up right now?
Next thing you know, he just bursts apart.
Alright, 1.
Y'all just taking people's lives in your hands.
You think I'm with you?
What?
Covered in darkness, yo. Darkness.
There was source that could happen.
Oh, I don't know. We kill a man?
I can think.
What kind of crazy ass zombie?
Delightfully, incredibly, wonderfully new. And you talk. What a time to be alive.
Dude, what you smoking?
You guys wanna sit and watch the game with me? It's a very exciting game. It's the bottom of the 67th.
Homie has lost it.
1,300 closed up all the shutoff valves.
Okay, where are the shutoff valves?
In the core room.
Where's the core room?
It's downstairs, of course. In the core.
OMG.
Okay, Tandy.
Yeah.
So what would happen? Like,
Never get there. It's
are they gonna be trapped in his mind? There's also the zombies to get through. It's Fright Night.
You got better.
Ooh, damn, Ty. It's cold. Or I should say hot.
I told you this already.
And it just repeats?
You know, for having names and being special, your intellect is in need of a polish.
How many times?
Snob.
Yeah, I think we better go. Otherwise, we'll be ripped apart. Which, I assure you, is quite unpleasant.
Oh my god, reliving your death over and over again? Jeez.
To hear all
Wow.
First explosion. Everything gets real unsteady after that, particularly my cohorts. Until, of course, you know, the Big Bang that ends it all. Or begins it all.
Could some of those rage monsters still be alive?
Hard to know, really.
Monsieur Flambe. Ah, nice.
Monsieur Flambe. That's a good one.
Cheeky.
French is funny. Oui?
Oui?
Oui.
C'est ça?
I think his mind is shot. There's no way.
No. No, I need him, Ty.
Oh, because it's all about you in this moment. Daddy, can you tell my younger self to get the hell out the car right about now, please? Thanks.
We have to get everybody out of here. Okay?
Absolutely. Eventually.
Oh, God.
Andy,
This girl is so selfish.
fine. I'll just see if I can do it myself.
I know, boy. I know. Yay! He controlled it! Oh! Okay! This is some Fright Night stuff right now. Zombie flu level. Oh my gosh, can Tyrone be infected? Whew. Exactly, bro. He's like, whoa. Okay, yeah, why don't you take a moment here?
Miss our talks.
Meanwhile, poor Tyrone's about to get his ass beat.
I even miss you. Yeah, I do.
Oh, poor
I
Tyrone.
really do. I promise.
I want to help you, bro. This chick is so not helpful.
We came here together. I might need you to get me out.
You might not.
You think I'm just gonna leave you here?
Do it. She clearly doesn't care about you. Rude.
Ivan? Cookie guy? His name is written all over the papers.
Wow, time and space are completely nullified in here. This is crazy.
Oh, right.
Tandy, look at me.
Destroy the phone.
You're stuck in the mind of an insane, catatonic mudman.
What's so bad about that?
Everything I just said in that sentence is ridiculous.
Tyrone, he's like, what part of that sounded sane to you?
Nobody called me. Nobody called me because nobody cared.
Maybe it's because you
Nobody
kept
wanted
dumping
me.
them and leaving them in jail without any bail
I was
money.
homeless.
Because none of it is real.
I'm gonna have to wait for everything to reset until I can talk to him again.
And I'll be right here to hang it up every time until you stop.
Ooh.
Are you
Nice!
kidding me right now?
Not today.
What truth?
Nobody calls you. That you have no friends, that you push everyone away,
Ooh.
that you're a thief.
Truth! Yeah.
I bet you he doesn't even know you're a liar either. Mm-hmm. Does he know that you're in such a state since he's died that you've turned to drugs? What would he think of his drug addict daughter?
Go, Tyrone! Love it.
What question?
Something Ivan wouldn't know.
What are you talking about?
Look, if this is your dad, your real dad,
Ooh,
then you
Tyrone!
can ask him something that only he would know.
Yes!
If he answers, then maybe you're right. Just one question. Just one question.
Good,
and
my
I promise
brother.
I'll leave you alone.
Showing that private school education. Yes, Tyrone. Tell her about herself.
The natural antidepressant. She never got the chance to tell me.
Oh, we remember. Aw, you broke him. You happy?
That's what it is.
You just need to get to the core room and close the valves.
I thought you
Yes.
said you tried.
No, he needs to do it. It's his scenario.
Every factor, every variable.
New variables.
Actually,
Right in front of
there are
you.
exactly 2 variables you haven't factored in yet.
Look at me sciencing. Yeah. Please tell me we have to start over.
We should get to it.
Whew.
It's gonna be a tie game forever.
They were like, oh God, no. Ooh, she getting fancy with it. Okay, Tandy. Yes, Tandy. Whip them out, one after the other. Some Robin Hood stuff up in here. Yes. Ooh. Mess with her, I dare you. At least the scenario's over, if nothing else. God. Hey, They're probably gonna kill you now, though.
I need to see Mina.
He can talk after all this time, too? Wouldn't he be atrophied? Okay. No questions about how she's aged 8 years? Okay. Oh, he does have his voice. Thank God.
Not the only one with this sweet con artist side, man.
Okay.
Why'd you call me?
Can't listen to it alone.
I just needed someone who would understand.
Yeah. Billy had bars, yo.
You, on the other hand, you were horrible.
A bit.
Can you play it again?
Aww.
Yeah.
All right, Tandy, you're back in my good books. Y'all kids don't even know about them tape recorders. Y'all don't even remember that stuff, man. Oh, man. That got all emotional at the end. So, there we are, episode 7, which was called Lotus Eaters. There we go. Sorry. I don't know why that title will not stick in my head. That was cool. That was really cool. The trope that they used in this episode is definitely not something that's a new scenario. The idea of living, it's like a, if you saw what was the Tom Cruise movie again? Something to do with tomorrow. Same idea of that, right? Replaying the same scenario over and over and over again, being stuck in this endless loop and having to figure out what you have to change to stop the loop. It's a really interesting idea, and I feel like it's such a great story writing tool because it really allows people to, it's a great reflection of how we actually work as human beings, because when it comes to something, especially something we regret in life, something we feel didn't go the way it should have, or the way something we should have done differently, as humans, we tend to do that. We tend to get stuck in that moment and we replay it over and over and over again. And even though life is continuing and time is actually continuing to pass, we actually kind of become frozen in a loop of that spot. And that could be with anything. That could be with relationships in our lives. It could be with progress. It could be with, physical or mental things that you're going through. Like, it's just such a symbol for how we can be as human beings. And I think it was really cool the way that they played that. Again, this episode doing a great job of taking a limited budget, but making a really interesting storyline that brings us a little further in the plot, but not, costing a lot as far as effects. Although we did see more effects out of the two of them in this episode than we have in a while. So it's kind of a nice marriage of the both of them. But going into some of the bigger points we came out of this episode with, this was definitely what I would consider a deep dive into Tandy. Like the last episode, we kind of got some more of her kind of figuring out more about what her dad was doing and figuring out what was happening as far as whether or not he could have been at all culpable or guilty of what happened with Roxanne. And in this episode, we kind of delved deep. We kind of got past the surface of Tandy, who's always Miss Conversationalist and always Miss, I have no problems. I'm so cavalier. I don't care about anyone. She heard her father's voice once and she was ready to give it all up. Like, girl was ready to stand there holding this man's hand until she withered in real life just to get a chance to hear her dad's voice again. So it was very cool to see Tandy's vulnerable side actually exposed a bit more, and I really, really enjoyed that dialogue between her and Tyrone, particularly when Tyrone because Tandy always goes for the jugular. If you notice between the two of them, Tyrone is definitely the more sensitive out of the two, which again is a really nice role reversal because typically we see the guy being the cavalier, kind of cutthroat person in a scenario like this. But the fact that Tyrone's actually the more sensitive of the two, the more heart-based kind of guy, and she's the one who's kind of more like, this is how she's dealt with all this pain, is she pushes people away, she cuts them, like the fact that she was manifesting those daggers, just like throwing them at Tyrone, that's what she's done to everybody in her life basically since her father died. Her mom, the guys that have come in and out of her life, she says she has no friends, but that's probably because, again, when they get too close or get too close to where she's going to be vulnerable, the metaphorical daggers come out and she just kind of starts cutting them all off. And we saw that there when she decided the selfishness. And that's why I was getting a little annoyed with her in the episode. I mean, obviously I still love her, but she was very selfish in this episode. She has been overall. It really came through in this episode when she was just like, screw you, Tyrone. I don't even know if you can get out of here. Maybe you can. Whatever's going on with you, don't care. I'm going to stay here because I found what I'm looking for. That's very, that's so Tandy so far, like in being very selfish about what she wants and what she needs above everybody else. And even in her pushing everybody away, you know, her mom and everybody else, and putting her father on this pedestal, it's selfish. Because her mom, even though her mom is flawed, her mom is definitely not mom of the year by any stretch, but she still loves her daughter. And the fact that Tandy's kind of robbing her of any type of affection and kind of almost punishing her for not being her father is a very selfish thing for her to do. And even all the people who probably were trying to be her friend and trying to be of comfort to her, the fact that she's kind of kept these walls up, believe it or not, it is selfish. And I know it's hard to think of it that way, because I know that something like, just personally, that in your mind you think that you're saving people the problem of dealing with you, but that's not the way human interaction works, right? As humans, we actually feel better and do better when we care about other people. It actually feeds us in return. We think being isolated and putting up walls will make us feel better, or that it'll be safer, but it actually hurts us, and it hurts the people who love us. I really like the fact that it's coming back to Tyrone in that moment saying to him, well, you know, since your dad's this perfect person and this pedestal, this amazing thing you've made him out to be, why don't you tell him that you're a mess, right? Why don't you tell him that you're broken? Why don't you tell him that the reason you're alone right now is because you push everybody away? Why don't you tell him the truth? Because, like, right, you're trying to be this perfect little version of yourself at 8. You're not that person anymore. And if this was the real world and your dad was still alive, he would know all these things about you. And of course we know that obviously in the real world she probably wouldn't have gone that direction if her father had lived, but the point was made. Tyrone was like, I see through all of this hardened shell you've got on the outside, and I see what you're trying to push me away from, which is that, you know, that's really what it comes down to. You know, Tandy, at the core of all of it, she's this broken, hurt little girl, the same little girl who's still in her little ballet outfit. She's just so scared that people are going to see this broken girl, this girl who's addicted to drugs, this girl who can't maintain relationships, this girl who misses her dad and doesn't have a good relationship with her mom, this thief, this con artist, right? All these things, that's all Tandy kind of thinks she is. Really, it's sad. And then she's holding on to this ideal of her father, the last person who saw her as like his little angel. And that's what that whole conversation over and over and over again was about, was her maintaining this moment in her life that she thought she was still happy and perfect, and that her dad saw her as this pure version of herself that she feels like she's deviated so far from. So it was a really deep episode. As usual, this show is always so deep with symbolism and meaning, and that's why I really like it. And it was really cool to see that whole conversation. But I love Tyrone for finally calling her out and saying, look, I see through it all, and I don't care. Like, I still know that you're not all these other things that you've done and these other moments that you've been. You at your core are this light. You are this good person. You just got to stop pushing people away long enough to let us, you know, be there for you. I'm hoping that what happened in this whole episode will kind of help Tandy take down more of the walls that she's trying to put up against Tyrone, because she really does need someone to kind of help her come out of that space of self-pity and really start to, you know, take control of her life, instead of kind of acting like everything that's happened to her is an excuse for the behavior that she shouldn't be doing. The whole scenario of the reset, you know, with Dr. Hess, very interesting about how he just, to deal with the insanity that was going on in his mind, that he was replaying the scenario and forgetting his name, forgetting his daughter. Clearly you're never going to forget something as special as your child, but just the fact that that's how he was able to deal with being trapped in this hell that he had no idea to get out of. That was all so beautifully done. Very interesting side note about the fear. So they talked about that, right? He said, you know, with all this, he called them the Klaxons. But, and again, please, if that's something that was in the comics, like if there actually is a thing called the Klaxons, please let me know. But the idea that this terror drug basically went out and turned everybody into like they looked to me like they were like rage zombies. Like, there's no better word to put it. Like, the fact that they just all of a sudden wanted to kill each other, that they were hyper paranoid. But the thing is, it seemed like they wanted to kill the new people. It didn't seem to want to kill each other, which was very interesting. But I guess whatever that energy is that was traveling through them, I guess it repelled itself. I don't know. That's kind of getting into the deepness of it. But very interesting that he kind of brought up the Tyrone side of the powers, right? The fear. Because Tyrone can sense fears. So whatever that was, or whatever aspect of the substance, as they like to call it, same wording that they used in Runaways, apparently Tyrone absorbed the fear part of it. So I'm very interested to see where Tandy's version of it came from, or if it maybe was part of the same substance, but somehow it got divided. Hopefully as the season goes on, they'll explain that. But I have to wonder if some of those might have gotten, like, do you think a Claxton got away? I mean, it feels like they couldn't have, because it looks like they kind of lose all mental capacity after that, but it'd be very interesting to see whether or not one of them possibly survived. Only other thing I thought was kind of interesting is the fact that he didn't have any recollection of what happened when he came out of his, Dr. Hess, when he came out, he didn't remember Tyrone or Tandy, or anything that they did. I don't know if that was true, or if he was just doing that because, you know, it was maybe the right thing to do, because obviously with him knowing that Tyrone and Tandy have powers, it may be a good or a bad thing. Hard to say at this point, but I do worry for him, because now that he's awake and he remembers certain things, we already know that Roxxon's cleaning house, so I'm a little afraid that we're going to lose Dr. Hess already. Not majorly, because honestly I'm not that married to his character at this point, but it does make me worry for him, because again, like I said, dead men tell no tales, and when he was catatonic, he wasn't a problem. So we still need someone to help unravel this whole Roxxon thing though, so I'm hoping that we're going to keep him around for a bit and see where it takes us as far as the storyline. Yeah, that was pretty much the episode. Obviously the really cute moment at the end, I really like that Tyrone shared that really private moment with Tandy. I do want her, like I said, to kind of drop all that hostility towards Tyrone, because he's just such a big teddy bear. Like, he's such a sweet guy, and I think I really like that about Tyrone's character, that while he's very sweet and sensitive, as we saw in this episode, as far as caring about Tandy and not leaving her there, and just being so adamant about kind of saving her from herself, we see that on the flip side he has this depth of darkness to him, right? He really does have a lot of anger and a lot of darkness that's kind of sitting beneath that surface. So I love that he's kind of that dichotomy of two very disparate emotions, but I want to see how that develops throughout the series as well. And kudos to him. It looks like he can finally control, at the very least, his teleportation. So that's good, because that's the one thing I said from the last few episodes, like, my man has got to learn to control that, because he cannot keep just accidentally popping up in places. It's gonna get him killed. That's, if nothing else, this episode was great for helping both of them progress their powers. Like, it was hitting a fast forward button on them learning to control it, and I really like that, because that maybe means that we're gonna be in for a lot more action in the latter half of the season. That was it for this episode, guys. Loved it. It was great. Still like the show quite a bit. Very much looking forward to how they're going to wrap this up. I don't know how many episodes there are, but I can't believe we're already going into episode 8. So I'm wondering where we're going to end this. Like, what's going to be the penultimate point of this season? I don't know if they've been renewed. My guess is they probably will be, because it feels like they're developing this at a pace to have to carry this into a second season. So I really am wondering where our finale is going to put us. I'm really interested to see where our point is going to be, because definitely Tyrone's storyline is going to start coming to a close now that the cop knows he exists. But as far as the Tandy thing, we're still kind of very much in the air. So what did you guys think of this episode? I know it's a bit late. Thank you so much for bearing with me. Please leave your comments below. Questions, concerns, anything else. I love reading those comments and being involved with you guys. And if you like this video, please click like. And if you want to see more from this geeky face, please click subscribe. Until next time, see ya.